everyone. Welcome to Wednesday night OWCP Chats with Chris and Gini. And I'm having an epic fail in my hair. Yeah. So.
Wait till starting time to fix it.
So, where is everyone tonight? Why aren't we having anybody on? Did I not press something right?
No, you did. They'll be on. Yeah, we'll just sit here and wait. There's one. Mike Wilson, what's up?
So,
tell your friends, share. We're not sharing it with all the unions anymore, so you guys are going to have to do it for us.
No, we are not. I am sharing with the unions.
Okay, we're not sharing with all of them.
Yeah, not all.
Some of them we're not.
So go ahead and share this post. Also, don't forget to like and follow and tell the people that are watching that they need to like and follow, because tonight we're going over the CA7, which everyone has been asking. Once my claim gets accepted, how do I file my CA7s? What do I need to attach to them to get paid? So,
to get paid, she said. To get paid. So that's what we're working on. Getting you paid. Yeah, I said you said that.
Yeah.
She's not listening to me tonight.
Mike said, what's up with the two of you? Just in the Helms, what is it?
No, you don't want to call it that. Let's move past that.
The Helms backyard. No. Yeah, Helms.
It's not that.
What is it?
Nope.
No, I said welcome to Wednesday night OWCP
That's
Chats.
what this is.
Yeah, but you said something else. I'm telling them we are in our backyard.
This is our backyard behind us.
Okay, I see Mike is tagging a bunch of people. So again,
everyone else can do that too. Put somebody's name in the comments, and that'll tag them to get on.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and tag this to my page, newsfeed. And, okay, so with that said, again, tonight we're going over the CA7 and what to attach to it and how you get paid once your claim gets accepted. So,
if you haven't been on Twitter, it's probably because you don't have it. So get Twitter. It's simple. Go to your Play Store, to your Apple App Store, and download Twitter. It's free. And sign up. It's like 4 or 5 easy steps. They walk you through it. And then when you get signed up, search at Fed Injury Center, at Fed Injury Center. Although we did post the forms here, the forms are also posted on the Twitter page, along with all kinds of other valuable things that are there. So at Fed Injury Center.
Yeah, so you guys are going to want to take note or have a copy of the CA7 like I did post. It's 2 pages, and we're going to go over line by line because a lot of you have been having problems. A lot of you have been calling Jennifer, I know, about this. Probably Derek as well. I've had questions on it, and so you could go also on our website and take a look at it there. So you have the website to look at it. If you're an Android user, you could find it on our Federal Injury Center's app on Android.
Yeah.
Or go ahead and just take note, because like I said, Chris is going to go over line by line. Most of it is self-explanatory.
But people are still confused about it. FederalInjuryCenters.com, we have the forms. That's what I'm looking at now. I have my laptop in my lap, looking at the forms on my website, the way you can as well, at FederalInjuryCenters.com. You click on the OWCP Forms tab, and you can find all the forms there that we're going to discuss tonight.
Yeah, and tonight I'm representing our AFGE for #RedForFeds. And I saw Mr. Kelly had the same exact shirt that I have. I think he made the one just like mine.
Yeah, maybe.
And Chris just has Federal Injury Centers.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah. So, let's see. We got about 47 people. Share, because we're just going to go over this once, and that's it, unless you'll have to come back and watch the video if you missed. So let's get as many people on here so they can understand how to fill out the CA7 and what forms to attach.
And why is this important? Because it's called a claim for compensation. This is how you get paid when you're off of work. And now some of you don't really care about getting paid. This is not your show. But if you care about getting paid, you should be watching this and share it with other people that also care about getting paid. We're not just going to talk about the forms, although we are going to discuss the forms, but we're going to talk about what things you attach to the forms and what your supervisors could do to reduce your pay.
Right.
And so we don't want supervisors to reduce your pay, so we're going to go over how to prevent that.
Okay, so Pamela, you are right. We do have a video on our Federal Injury Center's website that Tom goes over exactly step by step with you on the CA7. So
goes through every box.
That's also helpful if you're not going to understand, because he actually shows the form and he's going through and talking about it. And oh, you like my hair, Tammy? Thanks. She likes my hair.
I said that earlier.
Hello, Julia from Maryland. Sheila, you said you did your CA7 and you're still not paid. So pay attention, because there are some things that you do need to attach to the CA7 that doesn't tell you these things, but as we've been telling employees to attach these 4 things, they've been getting paid. So Shirley, met you at the Rural Carrier Convention in Mobile. Hello.
Yeah.
We said hello from Justin from New Hampshire. Cindy, hello. Susan, hi guys. Tammy said you're a good man for saying my hair looks cute.
Well, I mean, it does, Tammy.
Yeah.
I was trying to do that to mine earlier. I haven't had a haircut in a couple of weeks, but instead I just wore a hat.
Shannon, you said you found the video on YouTube. Yes, I think Chris went over the video as well on YouTube.
Yeah, Tom's got it on YouTube.
Yeah. So let's get started. Oh, Andrew says, hello, Jeannie and Chris.
Hey.
Hey, Andrew and Dr. Russianwala. All right, guys, so here we go. Get a pen and a paper, because if you don't have the CA7, you could at least write down the number and what needs to be filled out, and if it pertains to you, and if it pertains to you.
Yeah, and also print one out.
Yeah.
Hopefully you have one already. If you are on your phone and you have a laptop, I recommend opening your laptop and opening up the form. If you are watching this on your laptop, open up your phone and look at the form. One way or the other, I think it's going to be helpful for you to look at the form. Otherwise, you're going to have to view this again later and come back to it with the form in your hand, because I'm going to go over each section of the forms and also give some commentary on what it takes to get paid, aside from filling out the forms perfectly.
Yeah. Okay, so real quick before we start, Wendy says, my claim was accepted. I sent in a CA7. OWCP sent a letter to USPS asking for my prior pay and sent me a copy. The letter stated when USPS sent info that I would be paid. OWCP sent me another letter later saying that they are denying my pay because I didn't send in requested information. They never requested anything from me.
Yeah, you know, I'd have to see the denial letter, which I'm happy for you to send it to me. It may be that they didn't receive page 2 of this form, which we're going to go over, and that's one of the things supervisors can do to reduce your pay or prevent you from getting paid, is not fill that form out correctly or at all.
Yeah.
So we'll go over that. But your claims examiner knows the answer to why exactly did I not get paid, and so you may well want to call and ask. I would.
Yeah, and again, those of you that are hopping on right now,
we
are going over line by line of the CA7, once your claim gets accepted, how you get paid. So again, grab a paper and a pen and write down what Chris is going to tell you if you don't have the CA7 already printed.
Hey, Jerry.
Jerry! Oh, and one more thing. I'm still waiting for a handful of you to send in your testimonials so we could post them and we could get our franchisees, is it franchisees?
Yeah.
Yeah, franchisees to watch and understand why they need to come and be a part of Federal Injury Centers to help you guys out.
Yeah, I'm trying to get these new doctors to see what it is they're fighting for. And so when they get to see your story, they've never heard these stories. They have no idea that the problems that you're experiencing are even happening. And so in my materials that I give to them, I'd like them to be able to see some brief testimonials as to what you experience and how Federal Injury Centers helped you. We know how we've helped you, but we don't know how you feel about it. We've gotten thousands of claims accepted, and we know that that's thousands of people that didn't go bankrupt or file disability, didn't lose their jobs, they
Yeah.
have protection. And so what did that mean to you? What we'd like you to do is just take your phone, record a brief video. It doesn't have to be more than 15 minutes. Probably it's only going to be 5 minutes. And just talk about what happened and how, as a result of working with us, we were able to help you. That would be really, really beneficial because doctors don't understand what it is we're doing. And I'd like them to hear it directly from you. So take the video. You can send it by Facebook Messenger, or you can email it to Gini at Gini, which is Gini, at federalinjurycenters.com.
That's me.
Federal Injury Centers with an S on the end.com. So send us your testimonial. We'd really appreciate it. In the video, just say it is okay to publish this because we don't know where we'll publish it. Social media, on Google, on our website. There's no telling where we'll put it. I may take a quote out of what you said, take one sentence and put it in written material. So just give us permission to publish. And don't worry about it being perfect because we'll do some edits to make it look nice. You don't have to worry about that. We just want to get your heartfelt opinion on what happened.
Yeah. Becky says, I have to make a change to my CA7. Was told to put a line through the date and put a new fax date on it and initial it and change intermittent and initial. Can I do that, or do I need to redo a whole new CA7?
Yeah, that's probably okay to do.
All right, guys, get your pen and paper and let's get started so we can get through this. We are going over the CA7 and what it takes for you guys to get paid once your claim gets accepted. This is only to be done once your claim gets accepted. Hit
Okay,
it.
so that's critical. If you don't have an accepted claim, you just fill this out and wait. And when your claim is accepted, you turn it all in. But I don't recommend waiting until your claim is accepted because then the paperwork can be overwhelming. I saw a letter from a claims examiner once that said to turn these in every 2 weeks. And so I recommend that you fill them out every 2 weeks. And then date them appropriately, but then turn them all in when your claim's accepted. But your claim must be accepted first, and then turn these in every 2 weeks. And then expect to get paid once a month. If you get paid sooner, even better, but generally you're going to be paid once per month. If your claim is denied, you're going to receive a letter in the mail of denial explaining why your claim for compensation was denied. You have to read that letter. You've got to respond to the letter. You've got to do what it tells you. If you're confused about the letter, take it to your doctor or send it to us and we'll be glad to help because it can be complicated. But generally there's going to be like one paragraph in the letter that says your claim for compensation was denied because.
Yep.
Or specifically it was denied because. Look for that paragraph and then respond to it and do what they tell you to do. But, you know, it's a pain if you send these in with an expectation to get paid and instead you receive a denial letter. So that's why we're doing this. So the CA7 is broken into sections, and they're called Section 1, Section 2, Section 3, and so forth. I'm going to go through the sections. As you get questions, ask them. She'll stop me, and I'll answer your questions. If you don't have a CA7 in front of you now, I recommend getting one. Okay, so make that happen. Section 1 is simple. It's your information. It's your name, your address, email address, date of injury. You know that information. So fill that out. Make sure your date of injury is correct. This is really important. Okay, it has to match the date of your CA1 or box 13 of your CA2. Very important. It has to match. Section 2, what are you trying to get paid for? So most of you are doing leave without pay, which is letter A. Leave without pay says I clocked out, went home, and I need to get paid. I left without pay, so I'm charging leave without pay. And that's how you get paid on OWCP once your claim is accepted. So you select letter A, leave without pay, and you have to put the dates from and to. So let's say you're out Monday through next Wednesday, okay, and it's 8 work days for you, and you're out every single day. You just put the dates, the from and to dates. But look to the right, it says intermittent, yes or no. So intermittent means from Monday through the next Wednesday, there was a couple of days you actually worked, or some time you worked. It was intermittent. You weren't off completely that entire time. It was intermittent time off. So intermittent, yes or no. If it was, if you drop down, it says complete a form CA7A, time analysis sheet, and I'll go over that briefly in a second. But if you turn this in on intermittent time without a 7A, they will not pay you. So you've got to read the letters and the words and the sentences on this page and follow it. It's very important. So if your time is, you're off the entire time from on your CA7, you don't need a 7A. But if you worked any of that time, you need to fill out a 7A. Just incidentally, you can use this form for leave buyback. And if you drop down to letter D, and I'm not going to go over these tonight, you can do a schedule award, and this is how you get paid on schedule awards after an impairment rating. So letter D. So section 1 is just your demographics. Section 2, you're checking leave without pay. You're putting the date range that you want to get paid and deciding whether or not that was a continuous or intermittent. Okay, and then that's when you decide if you use a 7A or not. Any questions?
Not yet.
Okay, good. If you get sleepy, it's not my fault. I didn't create this form. It's a pretty boring form. Section 3, except for it gets you paid. Section 3 says you must report any and all earnings from employment outside of your federal job. So what they're saying is you don't get to be hurt, out of work, and go get paid someplace else, plus get your compensation here. So if that's happening, like say you're a letter carrier, you get hurt, but you can still go stand and make Subway sandwiches. They want to know here what you're doing. So the name of the business, dates work, type of work, that's going to be really important. They're not asking how much you got paid yet, but that's probably going to be important. Section 4, is this the first CA7 you've ever filed for this injury? So on a new injury, it's your first one, but you're filing these every 2 weeks. So the next one and the next one and the next one are not new. If it is the first time, you check yes. And if you check yes, then that means just fill out all the rest of the sections. If no, you skip to section 7. Okay, it's not that big a deal.
Okay. Shannon says, so in her situation, do I need to mark LWOP?
Yeah, Shannon. So if you're out of work because of an injury and your claim is accepted, you need LWOP. That's leave without pay. I should have said that earlier. Yes. Leave without pay is LWOP. I said leave without pay. I didn't say LWOP.
Yeah.
Select letter A, LWOP, which is leave without pay.
Okay, Barbara says, what about if you get money from mineral rights?
That's not part of this.
Okay.
They only care about work you do. That you own some property or mineral rights on the property has nothing to do with this. You would receive that whether you were at work or not at work. Those are your rights. That has nothing to do with this. That you have mineral rights, though, pretty cool.
Okay, and Tanya said, I know you probably just said this, and I apologize, but when my claim gets approved, I've been out since October of 2017. Can I put October 2017 until the present time?
You sure can. If you're out that whole time, you definitely can. You'll have to show the proof that we're going to talk about in a minute. There's documentation you attach to that, but yeah, you can, for sure. You can go back all the way to day 1 once your claim's approved.
Okay, Sheila says, I've been off since March 5th. Since March 5th, would that be intermittent?
Well, if you're out the entire time with no time at work, it's continuous. If since March 5th, you spent even 1 day at work, it's intermittent, and you need a 7A. If you spent even a half a day at work, or even 1 hour at work, it's intermittent. But if you're out the entire time, it's not intermittent.
Okay.
Okay?
Keep going.
Okay, so section 5. They want to know if they're going to pay you 75% or 67%. And so they ask you in 5, list your dependents. So you have to fill out their name, social, date of birth, relationship, and if they're living with you. The numbers of dependents determine the percentage of pay you're going to receive. Okay? So be sure you fill that out correctly. If it turns out later on that you filled it out wrong, they're going to come back and take money from you. So just fill it out right the first time. Okay? You don't want the hassle of them trying to come back and get money from you that you might not have at the time they want it. So fill it out correctly. Section 6. Was or will there be a claim made against a third party? This one's interesting. A third party claim is like a car accident and somebody hit you, a dog bite and you can locate the owner, or some other injury that happened as a result of a third party, not the Postal Service or the agent. I say Postal Service. Postal employees get dog bites and car wrecks all the time. That's why I said that. But this goes for any agency. If you were injured due to the fault of a third party, then you click yes here, or check yes. And then, this is a separate topic, you're probably going to need a lawyer that does OWCP and personal injury, because they'll want you, as a result of a third party, they'll want you to sue the third party, get a settlement, give them 80%, you keep 20%. So they'll want to know that because they're asking, is it a third party claim? Because they're going to be checking, is it settled? Where's my 80%? Because they get that portion. All right, section 7. This is just swearing that everything is correct.
Okay, hold on. Got
So
a question.
make sure it's correct and fill it out. Okay.
Becky Moss says, I was told if I use annual sick or get holiday pay, I have to fill out a CA7A, even though I haven't been at work since last November.
Well, that's to get your time back. That's called leave buyback. And in that event, you would also fill out a CA7B. And because you use your sick and annual leave and you'd like to get it back, that's called leave buyback.
Becky, I hope that answers your question.
But you don't have to fill out a CA7 in order to take sick and annual leave. Sick and annual leave, you're right whether you're injured or not. It's if you want to get it back. That's when you fill this out.
And Tanya said, what about a sidewalk in poor condition?
That one's trickier, but if you can prove the owner of the sidewalk, you're probably not going to be able to sue the city. You can try, but the lawyer might tell you that's not going to work. But I'm not a lawyer, so maybe I'm wrong. It just depends on who the owner of the sidewalk is.
Yeah, you could call Eric if you want and ask, see what he says.
I mean, let's say the sidewalk's at a grocery store you're delivering to. Well, it's a clear owner. That's not city property.
Right.
I guess it just depends on who owns the property, and the lawyer could advise better than I could. I wouldn't rule it out, but there's a chance that you couldn't sue. That's all.
That's it for now.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, so Section 8 starts what I think is the most important part of this, because we all would fill out Section 1 or Page 1 ourselves, Sections 1 through 7. But starting on Page 2, the employing agency has to fill this out, so supervisor, HR, or whomever. And Section 8 is really important, and the problem is a lot of you don't pay attention to Page 2 because you don't get copies of this stuff from your supervisor. But it's asking, you know, date of injury. What was your base rate of pay? Did you have additional pay? What date did you stop work? I mean, let's just take one of these. What if they put the wrong date of injury? It's definitely going to hold up your pay until OWCP clears that up. But the base rate of pay, what if they write a wrong pay amount on there? You're certainly going to be paid wrong. And so you want to make sure that this is filled out correctly, that the pay they show is the correct pay. Because let's say, I'm just picking round numbers, let's say you make $1,000 and they say you made $800. You're only going to be paid based on $800. So you want to be very careful. Section 9, does the employee work a fixed 40-hour week schedule? Yes or no? You want to make sure that they get your schedule right, because if they get it wrong, they're going to pay you based on the wrong schedule. They want to know about health benefits in Section 10 and other life insurance benefits, so make sure that's correct. Did you receive COP? Make sure that's correct. So all of this stuff the supervisor's filling out, inaccuracies here, if they make errors, it's going to negatively impact your paychecks. And so that's why Section 2 is so important. It's important that you go through, because nobody knows your pay situation better than you do. And so it's important that you go through here and you double check the work. If the supervisor does it wrong, fix it before it goes in, because OWCP is going to base your pay on this form. And you know, we see all the time the form's wrong and people call up and say, I'm not getting paid right, what happened? And I'll ask them, did you look at page 2 of your CA7? And the answer usually is no. I didn't know I could even look at it. And you can, it's your pay.
So, okay, so that answer, Shannon says, will we get to go over the paperwork our employer fills out before submitted?
Yeah, you have to go over it. Forget get to.
Yeah.
You have to demand it. There's no rule that says you get to review page 2 of the CA7. Like there's a rule on that you get all copies of the CA1 and CA2. But this is your time, your pay, your money, and it is in your interest to double check it, whatever it takes. I assume errors will be made on this form because there's so many places for errors to be made.
Okay,
and
so
I double check it.
Yeah, so Shannon, yeah, Chris answered your question. So understand that you guys should and must review all of this before, you know, you guys submit it to DOL. Misty says, so if I requested LWOP, but they automatically use my annual and sick leave first, do I do a CA7 and then a CA7B?
Yeah, that's right. But I'd also file a grievance because you asked for LWOP, and in order to get your sick and annual leave back, it's called leave buyback, meaning you're going to have to pay to get it back. And that's not fair. So I file a grievance, and I'd even ask, I'd call EEO and ask if you've got a complaint that you should make. Because when they start messing with your pay, that sounds like a discriminatory act, and I don't like it. LWOP prevents you from having to, in the future, buy back your sick and annual leave. That's just not fair. And that's going to scramble some eggs on this one. But you need LWOP when it's LWOP time. You need sick and annual leave when it's sick and annual leave time. When they force you to use sick and annual leave when it should have been LWOP, it actually costs you money. And that's not fair to you.
Juliana says, I called the HR contact for my CA7. She told me to go to eComp. It's done electronically now. So that's what I did. It creates an electronic record, and the employer has 5 days to process.
Yeah, 5 days is correct. You still need to find a way to see page 2. So be sure you're looking at the employer section of this form. It's really important. And let me read this real quick, and then I'll answer all the rest of the questions. Section 15 says an employing agency official who knowingly certifies to any false statement, misrepresentation, or concealment of fact with respect to this claim may also be subject to appropriate criminal prosecution. And so I think it's a good idea because we're just trying to look out for our supervisors, to say, look, let me take a look at page 2, because if you make an error on purpose, you could be subject to criminal prosecution. So let's just clear this thing up now. Let them know what Section 15 says. It's in their interest to let you look over it too.
Yep. All right, so Misty Brown says, how do we check to make sure they're paying us correctly?
Well, I mean, you know what you get paid normally, okay? Now you got to figure out, should I be getting paid 67% or 75% based on your dependents? And take a look at page 2 of this and make sure that the top section of page 2 is correct. If it's correct, you're going to get paid correctly. If it's filled out incorrectly, or you fill something out incorrectly, you'll be paid incorrectly. Garbage in, garbage out. So take your time, do it right. And in fact, on your before you fill out your dates on the first page, I'd make a copy of it, because nothing's going to change.
Yeah.
And then keep your copies for subsequent, future CA7s, and just fill in the dates on the separate copies. That way you don't have to make, you just have to get it perfect one time, and then take these copies and fill in the blanks in the future.
Becky Moss said, I have only used annual or sick 1 day a pay period. All else is LWOP. So they said they need to know what days I used leave to get LWOP paid.
Yeah, so now we're talking about a CA7A. It's called a time analysis form. I'm going to pull one up on my computer. And so what it does here is it asks you to separate out LWOP, hours worked, leave, and so forth. And so you want to make sure that you're delineating this. So if you took, say, 7 hours of LWOP and 1 hour of annual, you'll want to document that here. But the reason for this time analysis form is, number 1, for intermittent time, but 2, for what you just said. And so you want to be able to document the time that you used if you didn't use full days.
Hope that answers your question. Shannon wants to know, so do I have to turn this into my postmaster or my HR?
Well, it says turn it into the agency, so whoever your agency wants you to turn it into is who you should turn it into. Because, I'm sorry, let me say this.
Okay.
Because it's not just for post office, right?
Right.
It's for every agency.
All the agencies.
And so, like, the VA doesn't have a postmaster, but they have an HR. And so you got to figure out for your agency who they want you to turn it into.
Okay, so Tasha Dillon is saying you have to do this online now. So I don't know what agency you're with and what,
Because not all agencies do.
Right.
But when they do, you need to double check every section of the CA7. It's really important.
So Ms. Hart says, do you have to send page 2 every time you submit a CA7?
I would definitely make sure that if it's not being sent, that your claims examiner has a copy of it and they're paying you right. If not, I'd make sure to make a copy of it myself and guarantee that it gets sent in. That's really important. Because, what if the supervisor decides to fill it out and the second time around they put stuff wrong? You can't stop them from doing it. It's their job to do it. So no matter what, you need to know what page 2 is going in. Is it an old one, a new one? And double check the information on it. No matter what happens, it's your job to make sure you get paid right. You can't trust management to do it for you. You have to do it.
Exactly. Raymond says postal employees need to make sure their leave is coded as OWCP LWOP.
That's right.
So that you are credited that time off of work, years credited towards retirement. If not, it will show that you won't qualify for retirement until a later date than you expected.
Yeah.
Keep all of your leave requested forms. He's right. Keep everything, every single paper.
Make a file for yourself.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. And when you select letter A, LWOP, and you're on OWCP with an accepted claim, that's the deal. So he's 100% right.
So Miss Flo said, so you need to bring the form to your employer and have them fill it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, because management or the employer has 5 days to turn that into DOL once it's filled out.
Shannon said, one more question. It's okay, Shannon. Should we wait to turn in this in after we get paid up to 45 days?
Yeah, so she's talking about continuation of pay or COP. Is when you elect COP, then you have 45 calendar days of pay. Your CA7 doesn't start until your claim is approved. But COP can run out before your claim is approved. So if it runs out on day 45 and your claim's not approved till, say, day 90, then for 45 days you need to be filling this out, keeping track of it, but you really can't turn it in to get paid until the claim is accepted. So you take your COP, you fill out your CA7s, you turn them in once your claim's accepted and your COP runs out.
Okay, so everybody's saying that USPS their CA7s are done online now.
Okay. Well, still, it's your job to check.
Yeah, you guys got to check it.
I'm just worried about you doing it online and just taking it for granted that it's correct. I'd want to look over my supervisor's shoulder to make sure they're filling out right. Because, once it's filled out wrong, you're going to get a bad paycheck with not enough money and go through the hassle of fixing it when you could just fix it up front and avoid the hassle. So I would do whatever it takes in your power to make sure it goes in correctly.
Hello, Maria.
In fact, hey, one thing you can do is go ahead and get a paper copy of it and fill it out with your management and have managers sign that so you have a copy that it was done right and say, okay, be sure that the online form is filled out like this one that we both agree to. I'm just really worried and skeptical of online form submission if you're not watching and you don't have any proof of what was put in. I don't trust it. I doubt you do either, but I definitely don't. And I'm sorry.
Okay.
Not because I think management's necessarily trying to hurt you, but there's a lot of places that errors can be made. I want to double check it before it goes in.
All right, Nancy, she says, if you have a reoccurrence and DOL accepted the CA2A reoccurrence is your pay rate based from original date of entry or your pay rate at the time of reoccurrence?
At the time of recurrence.
Okay. Juliana says, USPS is who I work for. I looked online just now. Shows pending review by supervisor. Once that occurs, hopefully I can see page 2. I'll keep them on it.
Good.
LWOP code is 049 for USPS timekeeping to not count against you for retirement.
Good.
All right. Erin Bennett says, I filled it out as LWOP on my CA7A, and it was a full day, and I had 2 appointments, filled out therapy, then orthopedic, and then sent me a letter that they only pay 4 hours. I wasn't driving back to work in between visits because it was an hour drive each way. I wouldn't have been back to work for only about 15 minutes till I would have had to leave.
Okay, so the issue here is you're only allowed to be paid up to 4 hours of your work shift. And so if you're going to get paid for LWOP during a work shift, you're only going to be able to be gone for 4 hours. They take half a day and they count it like a full day. So if you worked half a day, or you worked, say you went to work for 2 hours, and then you went to the doctor, and you were gone for 4 hours, then they're going to make you come back to work for 2 hours. Because you can only spend half of your work day at a doctor's visit, MRI visit, physical therapy visit, and so they're only going to pay you for half the day, only 4 hours.
Okay, so
you're going to have to schedule your time so that you got like 4 hours of work, 4 hours of doctor, if it's going to take 4 hours, or 6 hours of work, 2 hours of doctor, or vice versa, so that you're not going back and forth. Go to one, leave it, go to the other, and be done.
now this, what everybody's saying, this whole fill everything out online for your CA7. So it seems like this only applies to USPS, not AFGE. AFGE still,
is a union.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the agencies.
Yeah. So you just have to print those out.
Right.
You know, but for
So other agencies like the VA, TSA, some of them are online, some of them are paper.
Yeah.
The point is the online version mimics the paper. All right, it's the exact same sections, numbers, boxes, and so forth, and you got to make sure they're all correct, regardless of your format.
So Lori Hoffman says, does this apply if you have a work injury but still able to work, just limited?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're out of work, even if you're out of work for 1 or 2 hours, you fill this out along with the CA7A time analysis form. If you're at work the full 8 hours, regardless if you're limited duty while you're there, you don't fill this out. This is just for time away from work due to a work injury, due to an accepted work injury.
Okay, so I see you guys are talking amongst yourself here. I'm confused.
That's fine.
If
Talk
USPS
amongst yourself. I'll just take a break.
If USPS is done online, how do I look over page 2?
You have to know the sections. So it starts with, let me go back. Page 2 starts, one moment, as long as you're talking amongst yourself, you won't care.
Nancy, you are right. E-comp is through DOL, not USPS.
Yeah, it's a separate thing.
So,
Page 2 starts with Section 8. Section 8 is the beginning of page 2. That is the employing agency portion. So you need to be very careful beginning at Section 8. Be
Yes.
careful with what you fill out too, but you want to know what they fill out is correct.
Okay, so Rick, so you understand, don't know if you just hopped on.
Welcome.
He says, don't know if you went over this. I came in late. I try to explain to people who file a CA7, Sunday pay, holiday pay, and the difference during COP and LWOP. Did you go over? You went over. Okay.
Well, I mean, the difference between COP and LWOP is continuation of pay is the 45 days after the injury on a CA1 if you report in time. LWOP is the time you get after your claim's accepted and COP ran out.
So he's saying...
No, there's differential pay if you're working weekends, Sundays, and so forth. But that's what page 2 is about, is to make sure that you're getting paid correctly. Starting at Section 8. The supervisor is responsible for getting you paid correctly.
So they're saying, he says, I try to explain to people who file CA7s, Sunday pay, holiday pay. Correct?
Yeah.
So, yes, on Rick. Okay, so, a lot of you are confusing each other. The USPS doesn't have an e-comp. DOL has an e-comp system.
But everybody can go to Google and search OWCP E-Comp, E-C-O-M-P, and it'll pull up a portal where you can sign up and upload all of your documentation yourself
Yes.
from your own computer at home. So anybody can e-comp. If you sent me something and gave me your information, I can e-comp on your behalf. So anyone can e-comp.
So I think what some of you are confusing is when you're submitting your forms, you submit it through e-comp. When you're filling out a CA7, depending on which agency you're with, maybe USPS, that's what they're saying, you're doing it online.
Right, and that's the e-comp system.
Right. So you could do it online, and then somebody says, how do you know, wait, where to go? So she says, I'm confused. If USPS is done online, how do I look over page 2? How does she review page 2?
My assumption is, and it's only an assumption because I'm not a USPS employee, you should be able to print everything out or request it from the claims examiner or just request to be able to review section page 8 or section 8 and on. I just wouldn't allow it to be submitted without reviewing it at least once. You can, I mean, roll the dice and hopefully they got it right. But if they didn't, then your pay will be wrong. And if you trust it, then don't worry about it. But I worry about everything when it comes to pay because I see too many people that get paid wrong.
Yeah. Valerie says, "Hi, I received
Hi.
I received COP the first 45 days. Is this paid at the evaluated hours or the proactive rate of pay? Received a letter of demand for the difference, 45 hours rather than 48 hours."
Yeah, they're not going to, if they paid you 48, they're not going to pay you 48. Sorry.
So Lori says, "Okay, I have a 2-hour drive one way to my doctor's and then 2 hours back. I work midnight, so I have to take annual or sick because I'm not allowed to drive more than 4 hours a day. Can I get that leave back?"
You're driving 2 hours to the doctor. So half of your day is en route. And then you're in the doctor for an hour, 2 hours there, just an assumption. So you're basically taking a full day of LWOP, which means it may be in your interest, and your doctor will have to do this with a CA-17, duty status report. It may be in your interest, consult with your doctor, for the doctor to say on therapy days or days where you go to the doctor that you have to be off completely that day. If you're off the whole day, then you can just use LWOP for the whole day. That's tricky, and I'm not trying to dodge it, but I think that's the best way for you, is to be off the whole day. Otherwise, go to work for 2 hours, and but you can only be paid up to 4 hours of a work shift, so you're going to lose 2.
All right. Leah Brown
Hold on,
says,
let me say one more thing. Sorry. Or go to work 4 hours, drive to the doctor for 2 hours, do your therapy, and then go home. That might be your best way to go, if you're not off the whole day. I'm done now.
Leah Brown said, "Doctor took me off 4 weeks for the corona symptoms. I hope they pay me, right?" So we've been talking about this like last week and this week, and I was getting some advice. I mean, we've been talking about this a lot. Like Chris said last week, if you get the symptoms, go see your primary care doctor or the emergency room doctor. Wait for your test to come back if it is positive.
Yeah.
And get a letter that when you do file your CA1, right? They'd be filing a CA1.
Probably. I mean, I doubt that you contracted over a period of days.
Right. That you take that letter and then you find your VOL doctor to help you. The only thing that you're going to get out of this for a work comp issue, which I know a lot of you are concerned about, is your 14 days that you're without pay. That's the only thing.
But the agencies are going to pay you for 14 days if you've tested positive or you've come in contact with someone that tested positive and your doctor quarantines you. You can find that notice on our Twitter page at Fed Injury Center. So you'll get paid for the 14 days. The other thing is that the contracting COVID is not necessarily work-related, so that's not necessarily OWCP related. And so to say, I hope I get paid, agreed, but if you can prove that you tested positive or that you were exposed to somebody that was positive and your doctor told you to stay home, then you'll get paid anyways for 14 days. And so that's not an OWCP question necessarily.
Right.
Getting into the OWCP part of this, man, could take an hour.
Yeah.
And at the end of the hour, she and I will disagree a little bit, and you won't like my answer very much at all.
Wah, wah, wah. Okay, so Rick said, "I was talking about the not getting paid Sunday pay once you go from COP to LWOP."
So it's kind of a special case. But in Section 8 here, there's like, it says show the base rate of pay, and then you see additional pay, additional pay, additional pay. It sounds like Sunday would be an additional pay. And it says type. So if Sunday has a different type, then that's where that's going to go. I don't know if Sunday has a different type. It sounds like it does. And whatever that code is for that type would go under additional pay.
Okay. Penny Stanley says, "Rule carrier here. I get paid 8.48 hours daily. Am I correct that I only get paid 8 hours per day with the CA7 when I'm off work a full day?"
Yeah, isn't that a crappy thing? Yeah, I think that's right. You know, your route is evaluated at nearly 8.5, but you're only going to get 8. That doesn't, it's not fair. The rural carriers are treated very unfairly in almost all cases.
Yeah, I think that's one union that gets treated so poorly
Oh.
compared to the rest of them.
I'm really sorry. Let me go backwards. Rick, additional pay types include, but are not limited to, night differential, Sunday premium, so SP, holiday premium, HP, subsistence, quarter, etc. So, yes, if your supervisor puts Sunday premium or SP under additional pay, then you can be paid for the additional pay.
All right, Becky Moss said, would like to say thank you for introducing me to Dr. Rashmawala and Andrew and the staff in Clearwater, Florida. They really take care of you, know what they're doing, very positive atmosphere. Well, you're welcome,
Yeah,
Becky.
that's great. And they're expanding. They've gotten so busy helping people and gotten so many cases accepted, which meant so many happy people referred their coworkers that they had to get the space next door, and they're knocking down a wall so they have like double or triple the space. That place is on fire with accepted claims, so we're really happy you're happy.
Matt Hayes says, if I have insurance policies, do I have to include them on the CA7?
Let me go back up here, because it says in section... Sorry, I'm there. Nope, that's third party.
Dawn, we're not an orthopedic surgeon's office. You have to see a regular DOL doctor, and they get your claim accepted, and then they'll send you to the orthopedic.
Yeah, so check out section 10. On the date the pay stopped, was the employee enrolled in health benefits, basic life, optional life, or retirement system? So that's the only thing that talks about other benefits at all. It's the supervisor section too, section 10.
What about short-term disability and accident?
That is not listed here.
So Matt, those are not listed.
Yeah, they're not listed.
All right, are you done with this second part?
Yeah. So we've actually gone through the whole thing, and the 7A is super easy. It's just a matter of keeping track of your intermittent time. You're the only one that can do that because you're the only one that really knows what time you're off, what hours you work, and so forth. It's just one page. It's so easy. It's not even worth your time for me to explain it to you. So what I want to talk about is what documentation you need to attach to your CA7 so you can get paid.
Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Nancy says they include your health insurance and life insurance only for USPS.
Well, I mean, the CA7 form is for all agencies, but so I don't know that that's true or not. But it does ask for it, that section that I told you about. But you have to just fill it out regardless.
So what he's going to go over next is the 4 things that we keep telling you guys that you need to include with your CA7s, sending them to DOL OWCP. So remember these 4 things, and it's really important because we've seen more people submit the 4 things along with the CA7, and they finally are getting paid.
Yeah. So what'll happen is you'll fill this form out perfectly, and you'll be like a hawk on page 2, and you'll make sure that management fills everything out correctly, and you'll be so happy because it'll get e-comped or you'll send it in by fax or whatever. Your claims examiner will get it, and they'll review it, and it'll be perfect. And you'll know for sure that at least once a month you're going to get paid because you've got this perfectly filled out, beautiful CA7 claim for compensation. You may have even filled out your CA7A perfect, and so you're feeling really good about yourself. But then you're going to get a denial letter, even though it was perfect because you didn't prove it. And so when you send this stuff in, it's critically important that you send in the following 4 things along with it. If you have the 4 things. If any of these things you just don't have, then obviously you wouldn't send it in. So these are the 4 things, and it is so important. So write this down. Otherwise, go back, rewind, watch again until you get it down. But the first thing is a CA17, a duty status report. If your doctor takes you off of work, that is your reason for being off of work. And so you've got to attach your CA17 to your CA7 to show that you were off of work and why. The other thing you've got to do if you have a CA17 and you're off of work, or any time you're off of work, is to have your doctor write a short narrative explaining why you have to be away from work. See, the CA-17 takes you off of work. It doesn't necessarily explain why you're off of work. Okay? So have the doctor write a short little paragraph or two explaining why you need to be off of work. It's really important. The third thing is a CA-20. The CA-20 can also be found on my website, federalinjurycenters.com. And if you go to the OWCP Forms tab, you'll see a CA-20 Attending Physician's Report. So the CA-20 is also filled out by the doctor. And this form basically just kind of gives your status. It talks about your prognosis and some other things. And only the doctor can fill that out and sign it. So you've got a CA-17, a narrative report explaining why you're off of work, and a CA-20. The last thing, the fourth thing, is if you're off of work because you go to the doctor, or because you go to therapy, or because you have an MRI appointment, or some orthopedic evaluation, whatever, then you need a printout of the appointment from the office signed by the practitioner, the licensed person, so the doctor, the therapist, the MRI person, etc. So CA-17, a narrative explaining why you're off of work, a CA-20, and a printout of your appointments signed by the doctor or therapist. If you don't attach these forms, you should assume you're gonna not get paid.
Yeah, so I listed the 4 things that are needed to attach to your CA-7. So basically, CA-7 is a form you fill out once your claim gets accepted. So please understand that. It's only to be done once your claim gets accepted.
It's to be turned in. I recommend start filling it out on day 1.
And
so it doesn't get overwhelming.
Things that you need. Matt Hayes says, what about the part about child support? If I get my claim accepted, does DOL pay my child support?
I've never heard of child support being paid, ever. I don't know. I'd have to look into that, and I will. I'll look into that. I've never even been asked that question before.
Message Chris, Matt, you or me.
Yeah, I've never been asked that question. So that's an interesting question, and I'll find out the answer to that.
Ashley Cox says, what about when you're separated from service due to inability to perform?
Like, because of a work injury, then you fill out a CA-7, and you're paid for LWOP for the time that you're out of work.
Juliana Taylor, so a CA-17 for each date requested?
Well, so the doctor will fill out a CA-17 taking you off of work, and it'll last for a period of time. And
like
you
what,
want
30 days?
The doctor can make it any period of time, whatever period of time the doctor makes it. And so you need your CA-7 in that to match. If it doesn't, then go back and get a new CA-17.
Any other questions, guys? So today we covered what a CA-7 is.
7A.
CA-7A went out. Oh. Did you see that?
We're good.
Okay. And, okay, so Ashley Cox says, yeah, but I won't have the 4 things if the agency separates. I am separated after tomorrow.
Like terminated? Because if so, that's a whole different subject. If the agency is, removing you from the agency, like you don't work there anymore, that's different. And give us a call tomorrow and let's help you with that. That's a different situation altogether.
Flo, you want to know where you can get a T-shirt like Chris? Well, we made these ourselves here with just a regular T-shirt company, but coming soon, once we start franchising, these things will be available
on our website
for all agencies to buy. And the proceeds, so you guys understand, the proceeds will be going to a charity.
Yeah, we're not going to keep any of the money.
We're not keeping any of the money. So when you guys buy the T-shirts, you're just going to be ordering it from whatever places in here. Remember when I was asking people about to hook me up with somebody that can do T-shirts for us, which we're taking care of already. So they'll be put on our website and you can order it from them. We won't have anything from it.
And it's kind of surreal for me because we get people all the time asking where they can get our T-shirts. And, I come from this really small country town where not a lot of people make it out. And some of them do. And
Get out?
Some of them do. Like, there are some successful people that came from my place back in those days. I had no idea what I was going to do with my life, and now I'm doing this thing, and people want my T-shirt. So it's just kind of like, what do you do with that? So I appreciate that you want it. We're going to make that available, and just so you know, all the proceeds are, like she said, going to go to a worthy cause. We're not going to keep any of it. But if you want our shirts, we'd love you to have it.
Yeah. So stay tuned. Once all of our franchises or some of them start going up, we will develop a separate link in our website where you can go ahead and buy it. It'll also be connected to the app as well.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to buy it from the computer or from your phone. All right, let's see. We have some questions here. Kristen, if you submit it and they tell you, you will always be paid. Thanks for all the guidance, guys.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Ashley Cox says, yes, separated for inability to perform due to comp injuries.
Yeah, you're going to have to really get with your union on that, and I'm sure you have. But once you're separated, your ability to get paid is going to change. You may have to consider federal disability, which makes me sad, but it's an option for you. And also, it's surprising because I know that a lot of the crafts, there is an ability to receive a permanent limited duty position. Maybe that was available and it wasn't pursued. I don't know. It's hard to know what your specific situation is, but there may be options for you.
Yeah. Becky says, if the 4 things have been turned in prior to the claim being approved and now approved and turning in a CA7, resend the 4 things sent.
So, in fact, every 2 weeks you're going to turn in a CA7, resubmit all 4 things every time. Every single time you turn in a CA7, you need the appropriate documentation to go with it. Don't give the claim examiner a reason to say no.
Yeah. I mean, by turning in your CA7 completely filled out, you're reviewing it, you're reviewing what your supervisor wrote, and these 4 things, how could they possibly not pay you after that?
It makes it awfully hard.
Yeah.
Me and a lot of the doctors I've trained for what seemed like a year went back and forth on the phone with one another going, what in the heck do they want? We knew the rules. We found a slideshow that was a training tool for supervisors and claims examiners, and we tried to follow that, and they would still deny, and so we were reading denial letters. And so this is sort of like the information we all put together from all of the hell that you went through. So we think this is working, though, and if it's not, let us know.
Yeah.
Because if after attaching all this stuff, you still get a denial, I'd like to see what the denial letter said.
Yeah, so if any of you get anything saying that the 4 things that you attach on a really good fill out of the CA7, the first and second page, send it to us, email it, or just take a screenshot and text it to me. We'll see what else needs to be submitted.
We'll revise our lesson here and add the new stuff to it. Claims examiners can go rogue and will oftentimes go outside of what the rules say. And we can fight them or comply. And if it's something reasonable, we'll just teach you how to comply.
Yep. Lupita says, if 2 years have passed since the injury, can management put my route for bids? I'm a rural carrier. I'm currently awaiting for an approval of surgery.
Yeah, in fact, as a rural carrier, 2 years is your mark. So that's definitely something they can do. Be sure your union's helping you. I'm pulling for you.
Peggy, where can you find a doctor that accepts OWCP? If you let me know what city you're in,
we'll help you.
There's a handful that Chris has taught. We'll go ahead and help you find one. And you can also go on the ACS website. Let's see. Raymond Aranga says, the USPS was providing administrative leave if the employee was quarantined by a healthcare provider for contracting or exposure due to COVID-19 prior to the new act. As of April 1st, they are mandated to provide 14 days emergency sick leave to all employees that meet a list of 6 criterias. They are actually not putting you in a situation where you would have to wager health over income at this time. Protect yourself and your coworkers. If you do not know how to handle the situation, contact your steward or branch officers beforehand. We will do whatever necessary to get you paid. Thank you, Raymond, for addressing that. So those of you that are in USPS, pay attention to what he said.
Yeah, but all the agencies are going to comply with that. So just take a look at the notice we posted last week. on Wednesday Night Chats. Take a look at it. We also post it on Twitter at Fed Injury Center. The 6 things that he's talking about are definitely on there. They're in clear English. Anyone can understand it. And it'll let you know how you can be covered for 14 days if you have it or came in contact with it.
Yep. Angela said, thank you very much. Very overwhelming. Yes, we know when we're teaching you something just for like an hour or so that it does get overwhelming because we're just going, and then we get questions. So if you need to talk to myself, to Chris, to Jennifer, or Derek, our numbers will be listed below. And Angela, you said you have, you want to talk to Chris personally. You can call me on my cell, and that is 877-787-OWCP. If I don't pick up because I'm on another call, leave the message and say you want to speak to Chris personally about your stuff, and I'll have him give you a call.
I'm sitting around like
he's doing nothing. Call him.
I watered the yard today. There's new grass out. I supervise the guys putting this stuff up. We did some things.
Kristen said your videos on YouTube are so helpful with filling out the forms.
Good.
So those of you, I mean, obviously you couldn't see Chris's laptop, but if you go on there, Tom, our other partner, goes step by step, just like what we were doing, but you actually see the CA1 and the CA7 forms. And he's also done videos on filling out the CA1, CA2. There's a few forms on there, so you can go ahead and check it out.
Go to the videos tab at federalinjurycenters.com.
Derek says good night, everyone. He's in the New England area and helps all the New England states. He's put his phone number down there. Since he's at home doing nothing, to call him at between 12 a.m. and 5 a.m. at the number he posted below. Debbie said, thank you for educating us. Have a great night. So that means after 2 years, you're fired.
After 2 years, you can be. As a roll carrier, you can be.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you will be. It just means you can be. But work with your union. Your union reps hopefully are, strong enough to help you with that. I know a lot of them that are in the roll craft, so I'm pulling for you though. But yeah, you can be.
Ashley Cox says, do you all know anything we need to know about the new contract for DOL that is processing medical auth requests, payments, etc.?
Well, Conduit is being changed. They're leaving, and there's a new group. I can't think of the name.
Yeah. It was funny because I just happened to be, I was actually calling DOL myself last week to ask them specific information about this whole coronavirus and how is it that you guys can say how you contracted it, right? And they said that, and I replayed it, and we just found out that they are being changed.
Okay, but COVID aside, OWCP claims are still going to be processed the same.
Yeah.
The web bill processing portal is still going to be up. Not much is going to change for you. From what I understand, they will just process pharmacy bills differently, which means it'll change for pharmacists. I think you're going to be okay. But I'll keep you posted on that. Once that's up and running, if there are any changes, we'll talk about it here.
Yeah, and Jennifer deals a lot more with it, so if she has any new information, she'll call Chris or I, and we'll go ahead and we'll make sure that we post it on there for you guys to know immediately. And letting you know, our offices, the Federal Injury Office, Clearwater, Birmingham, and in Massachusetts.
No, they're not still up in there.
Where?
Massachusetts, just the two.
Okay, so we're only open in Birmingham and in Clearwater right now. But for the other doctors, I know West Palm Beach is open, Fort Myers is open.
Yeah. The situation in Massachusetts is a little different.
And Dr. Patron is open.
Yeah, it's different than the other states because each state's governor can make different decisions. Like, who was shut down for 70 days?
Virginia.
Good Lord.
The state of Virginia shut down for 70 days. He can't handle being shut down for 30.
Yeah, the first 7 minutes, I was like, man, what am I going to do now? They wouldn't let me take my Jeep through a car wash today.
Yeah, they had crime scene tape around it. Not that you're getting out of your car, but hey.
They have soap in the car wash. Like, it's super clean. I could wash my hands if I open the windows. And they won't let me go in.
All right. Valerie Miller says, but if terminated after 2 years, do you qualify for disability retirement?
Absolutely. You definitely can qualify for disability retirement. Yeah.
Time for a VA office. Time for a VA office, Matt. What do you mean? All right, guys. Well, we want to thank each and every one of you for, despite what's going on in this country right now, to stay positive, stay hopeful, keep the prayers going for everyone's family members.
We'll all be open back up soon.
The country will be open back. Every bad thing must come to an end. And we thank you for tuning in, again, despite what's happening. And whatever help you guys need, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. I know a lot of you have been wondering why we're not returning calls. You have to understand, everyone is calling between Jennifer, myself, and Derek. You know, what can we do? What happens if we get the virus? So our phones are blowing up.
And we're trying to post the information here.
Yeah.
So that the answer to the question can go out to the next 100 people that are asking. So just check back with us on Twitter and on our Wednesday Night Chats page. And we're going to try to answer your questions like that so that we can help more people, because there's 2.8 million federal employees and just a handful of us.
Yeah.
So be patient with us and come back to our page. And please invite other federal employees, your coworkers, to follow the page. Share it, like it, follow it, so that we can get the word out of all the stuff that's going on to everybody. Same for Twitter, at Fed Injury Center. Stop being, stop avoiding Twitter. Go ahead and just jump on. And don't follow anybody but me, and your time will not be wasted. I guarantee it.
So we're on Twitter at Fed Injury Center, right? We are on Instagram, Federal Injury Centers. We are both on LinkedIn. Just find either Gini Helms or Chris Helms. We're on YouTube. Our app for the Android, Federal Injury Centers, is up and ready to go for the Android. I'm just still awaiting the iPhone. But so you can find us on our website, federalinjurycenters.com. You can find us on everywhere on social media. You can call us. So we look forward to helping you guys. We completely thank you for your support and watching us every week.
And we love you.
We do love you. And don't forget, I'm trying to get to 10,000 viewers and followers and likes.
Yeah, so just take a minute, follow and like. Tell your friends. Make it happen. We appreciate your help.
Sounds like my car in the background. Yeah, we're sitting
outside
on the porch. So, yeah, the street's right there.
And there's a neighborhood like over there, and there's this dude with a Ferrari, and he likes to run it like it's a...
He wants to let you know.
He runs it like it's a Ferrari.
So, again, everybody, stay safe, stay positive, sending prayers to everyone, and we will see you guys next week. Thank you again for watching us. So next week at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on our Facebook page, Wednesday Night OWCP Chats. And don't forget to share, like, and follow. Bye.
Night.